Kakolosh Bokatov, we're continuing on Mem Zayin Bet 47b. So we said over there, this is already on the second or third line, right? Where it comes and it says, Amninan Hoil. We say, V'i Amninan Hoil, Acharisha lo lechayev, Hoil b'chazidam kisudam et tzipor. It says, 1 second, you shouldn't be chayav on the Hoil. Why? Because if right now you could come on Yom Tov and you're allowed to plow or you're allowed to come and cover because of the kisui dam tzipor, which means if you do shechita to a tzipor, you're allowed to cover the blood, right? So therefore, you shouldn't be chayav on the plowing. So I'm going to Papa Shmuel says Papa Shmuel, bavanim mekur zalot. We're talking about Amar of Papa Shmuel. We're talking about avanim mekur zalot. What does that mean? We're talking about stones which are found, which are not fitting to do kisui dam. So we asked, hayuru yot lekotchan. You could crush them. So we answered, what, you allowed to crush things on Yom Tov? By the way, we did this yesterday also. Right? But just put your finger on the plates, put your face in the book. Yeah, zala panim. Yeah, you know what I mean? Zala panim. You have to put your panim inside. Exactly. He's on the ball. Yeah. How many times do I have to tell you the same thing? 47b. So says the Gemara, it's fitting to stam crush it kilachar yad. So answers the Gemara, betsunma. We're talking about a land which has a lot of stones. So since it has a lot of stones, you can't start crushing it, right? Because it's not fitting for kisui adam. So the Gemara says, suma barzriya. Can you actually come and you could actually, how do you call it? You could actually plow it. Tsuma means, so the Gemara answered, no, you're right. On the top there were stones, tsuma, but on the bottom it was a fartichoach. Yeah, we learned this yesterday already. Yeah. So says the Gemara, why don't we learn it from Mishuma fartichoach? Because of the fartichoach. So Rashi betina. What are we talking about? Titlach. It's like clay, which is not fitting, or right, like earthenware, right? It's not fitting for kisui adam. So says the Gemara, betina barzia. Can you actually plant then in tina? Right? Can you plant in clay? You can plant in clay. So answers the Gemara, b'metunta. What does that mean, metunta? Adamalacha. We're talking about a moist land that it's not, like, doesn't become like a fire which is fitting for kisui adam, but you could still actually come and you could use it. Okay. So says the Gemara, 8 ways. So we're going to ask 8 way Abaye. Abaye is going to come and ask from a following braita. Hamvashel gidan hashev. Somebody's going to cook the gidan hashev bechalav yom tov on yom tov ve'ochlo, and he eats it. So he's going to get 5 lashes. One more time. He cooked gidan hashev and he ate it. Yeah, right? And it was on Yom Tov. He's going to get 5 lashes. Lo ke mishum vashel gidan hashev Yom Tov. First of all, he cooked gidan hashev Yom Tov. Lo ke mishum, he's eating the gidan hashev. Lo ke mishum vashel basar v'chalav. He's eating basar v'chalav. Lo ke mishum ochel basar v'chalav. He also gets lashes for the eating, meaning cooking the basar v'chalav and eating the basar v'chalav. Remember, the gid comes from the animal. It's like meat. It's got taste of meat. Now you're cooking that in milk. Yeah, amvashel gidan hashev in milk on Yom Tov. So first of all, yeah, how do we get everything? Again, 5 lashes. How do you get the 5 lashes? Number 1, you cook gidan hashev Yom Tov. You're not allowed to cook something on Yom Tov if you're not able to eat it. You understand? You're allowed to cook on Yom Tov. But again, just like we said, you're allowed to carry on Yom Tov. But only if it's for the necessity of Yom Tov. If you're going to come and I want to carry for the sake of carrying, chayav. Yeah, you get lashes. It's a lo ta'aseh. You're going to cook on Yom Tov and you're not allowed to cook on Yom Tov. For example, you're going to cook for a goy on Yom Tov. What's halacha? Chayav. Lashes. Yeah, you're not allowed to do a melacha. It's only when it's permitted. You're not allowed to cook for yourself. No, also. Gizirat chachamim, you're allowed to. Yeah, you're not allowed to. You're not allowed to.
But if you cook for yourself and there's leftovers.
There's a whole gezerah. You're right. If there's leftovers, but there's a whole gezerah nowadays. Would I do that lechatchila? Which means, can I come and I'm going to invite the goy? Yeah, and then I'm going to say no, but I'm only cooking for myself, and then I'm going to have leftovers.
You have a cleaning lady.
Yes.
She's in your house. She's working on Yom Tov.
Okay, that's already. We'll get to the halacha afterwards. It's not that simple, whatsoever.
It's important for me.
Yeah. So after shiur bli neder, we look into it. Yeah. So it says over here. So what happens though? Loke chamesh, you're going to get 5 lashes. Loke mishum gid. By the way, you should know, according to a lot of shitot, what you're supposed to do in that case, are you listening? What you're supposed to do in that case is, according to a lot of shitot, you have to cook everything before Yom Tov. And even, by the way, cooking everything before Yom Tov, it's also gezerah. For example, can I come? I'm going to cook everything before Yom Tov, and I'm going to listen. I'm going to invite a goy. Why? What's the problem? I'm not going to cook. I have everything cooked. Also, it's a soup. Yeah, but we'll speak about your case. 1 minute. Yeah, but it could be that maybe shfachot might be a little bit different. But let's see. Yeah, number one, you cooked on Yom Tov on something that you're not allowed to eat. Number two, you ate the gidan nasheh. That's another yisur. Number three, cooked basar v'chalav. Number four, ate basar v'chalav. Number five, mishum havara, which means you went and you made a fire, right? So now it says the Gemara, if you're going to tell me hoil ve'avara lo lechayev, that it shouldn't be chayav on havara. Why? You're allowed to make from one fire to another fire without any problem because you could have used it for your own necessities. So why are you going to be chayav now? You should say hoil. Hoil, that I could have lit the fire and I'm doing the fire for my own necessities. It's permitted. So now you're right. I did it for in a prohibited fashion because I'm not allowed to cook these things. But at the end of the day, there should have been hoil. So Amalei comes and he says, Api kavara, you're right. If you take away avara, there's gidan hashev a nevela, which means that over here, we're going to say that it was a gidan hashev, an animal that became a nevela. It wasn't slaughtered properly. It was a nevela. So that gidan hashev that comes from the nevela is a problem. Capish or not?
These 5 prohibitions were based on what?
What do you mean they're based on what? A person came and he cooked the gidan hashev in milk on Yom Tov, and then he ate it. What's salacha? So again, what are we trying to do? We're trying to take the hoil. The hoil is that since right now, if I could have used it for a ted, so why are you going to make it in an isur? That's the concept. So we were trying to say, why are you going to be chayav on havara? You could have used havara for your own necessity. Havara is making the fire. So we answer, you're right. Take away havara. You have to stick in something else. So says the Gemara, Vatani Reb Chia lokin shtaim. Says 1 second. I thought that you're only going to get 2 lashes, right? Right? It says alachilato, right? It says 2 lashes on the eating of the gidan nasheh and 3 lashes of the cooking of the gidan nasheh. 2 lashes on the eating of the gidan nasheh because you ate the gidan nasheh because of eating basar sheni bashel v'chalav, and then 3 on the cooking, which is basically havarat ha'esh, bishul on yom tov, and bishul basar v'chalav. Now, according to you, shalosh alachilato mibayle should be 3 on the eating, not 2 on the eating and 3 on the cooking. One more time. What did we just say? We said 5. Okay. Now, how do we get to the 5? So what we just said now was, right, is that we took away the havara and we added in because of nevela. Yeah, the nevela, is there a problem to cook nevela? Which one? Havara was okay because we say hoy. Now, in nevela, what type of an isur is it? It's because you cooked it or because you ate it? You ate it. It's not cooking. You're allowed to cook a nevela. Nevela is non-kosher. You're allowed to cook non-kosher, right? You're allowed to cook non-kosher. If I took pig and I cooked it, I'm allowed to cook it. There's no isur on cooking it.
Depends what you do with it after.
Obviously, depends what I do. But if I'm going to give it to the dog, I'm going to give it to your cleaning lady. That's fine. What? You're allowed to have benefit on pig. Of course. No. Yeah, but on nevela, yes. So here, what he's trying to say is like this. So how many do you have because of eating? And how many isurim do you have because of cooking? So until now, what do we have? We had 2 on the eating and 3 on the cooking. 2 of the eating, you ate gidan nasheh and you ate basar v'chalav, and 3 on the cooking. The havara of the fire, yeah, the cooking of basar v'chalav, and the cooking of the on Yom Tov of the gidan nasheh. That's 3 on the cooking, 2 on the eating. According to you now, if you took out havara and you put a nevela, now you have 3 on the eating and 2 on the cooking. 3 on the eating, nevela. Exactly, but that's what he's saying. Ve'atani Reb Chia says, Lokin shtaim al achilato, ve'shalosh al bishuno. V'im now if you're going to tell me what you just said now, shalosh al achilato mibayle. It should have been shalosh al achilato. So says the Gemara, you're right. Ela apik. Yeah, no. Well, again, I see some people they're not getting it. They're not getting it. Let me explain one more time. Yeah, what? 100%. So let me explain. Yeah, it's either 2 things. Yeah, it's either I'm not explaining properly, right? Or, right? What's number 2? No, that I'm not explaining properly. So I'll explain it again. Yeah, one more time. Yeah, one more time. Yes, but one more time. What's the question? How do we start the Gemara? We're starting the Gemara. Do we say hoil or don't we say hoy? So says the Gemara.
And hoil is to put in a condition, correct?
It's not putting a condition. Hoil is that even though you did an isur, since you could have done it in a heter way, you don't get an avera for the hoil. Meaning, I'm not going to punish you on the hoil. That's hoil, since. Hoil, since. I told you, since you're allowed to cook on Yom Tov something which is litzorech, yours also mutar, lo litzorech. That's called hoil. Or for example, if you're allowed to come and heat up hot water, are you also allowed to heat up water for your body to take a hot shower? That's a question of hoil. So we say that usually it has to be shaveh lechol nefesh, it has to be for everybody. Then you get into machlokot. But there's a concept of hoil. Hoil means since you could do this, you could do that.
It means since you can cook from Yom Tov to Shabbat, then are you allowed to cook from Yom Tov to a regular day? Is that the hoil also?
If you want, you could say that. Yeah, if you want, it's not exactly a kavachomer, but it's something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not a kavachomer. Because kavachomer means that this is more lenient, that's more stringent. Here, it's not. It's not like that. It's saying that since I could be lenient in this case, maybe I could also be lenient in another case. It's not for sure you could be lenient. Maybe it's a hoil.
If you eat
Yeah.
kosher beef, there's a certain avera. Pig is more.
The exact same avera. The exact same.
I was going to tell you a hoil.
No, there's no hoil. It's the exact same thing. The exact same. Non-kosher. Lo tuchal kenevela, trefa, and then the non-kosher. Okay, fine. So that, now,
sorry, Rav. And basar bechalav is also for non-kosher meat.
Very good question. The answer is no. For basar v'chalav, it has to be a kosher meat and kosher milk.
Wow.
If one of them is not kosher, then no. But there's no basar v'chalav.
What?
There's no basar v'chalav. There's the other isur. There's the isur of eating taref for the. But it's not okay. But
So what? You telling me the cheeseburger, the meat?
1 minute, shwai. Yeah. However, though, if it was a kosher animal, but it didn't do shechita to it, so according to a lot of shitot, there is basar v'chalav. So that means the reason why you guys have a problem going and having a cheeseburger is because usually the cheeseburgers come from a cow, right? They don't come from a horse.
Okay.
So therefore, since it comes from a cow, even though they didn't do shechita to it, it's a nevela. By nevela, in McDonald's, other places,
when McDonald's was serving a horse,
they were doing you a favor that you weren't doing basar v'chalav, but you were doing, right, non-kosher, right, a sus, and you're doing also other avirot. You understand all the other avirot? You understand this thing, by the way, you should know. We were joking around how people are clueless. You understand? They make up, there are certain people, the amei aratzot deoraita derabbanan. You know what that means? Amash amei aratzot. I'm not looking at you. Yeah, I'm looking straight through you. Yeah?
I'm right here.
Yeah. Amar is deoraita derabbanan. What do they do? Yeah, Target is that way, right? Not this way. Target is that way. Yeah, on Biscayne, over there. Yeah. So he says like this, yeah? He says, what do? They go to a non-kosher restaurant. And then they kind of say, yeah, but Rabbi, I only eat a salad. Now, one second. You went to a non-kosher restaurant. There's a lot of isurim there. It's not just one isur. There's bishul goy. Yeah? Okay, but you're going to tell me it's rabbanan. There's chadash, that could be doraita. Okay, fine. There's yain nesech. It could also be safek doraita, derabanan. Okay, fine. Let's say derabanans. Okay. Now, 1 second. You've got non-kosher food. Yeah? You're going to come and you're going to eat a treif, piece of meat. Yeah? Or a non-kosher fish. It's all doraita. Fine. What are you going to tell me now? Rabbi, I didn't do that. What did I eat? I only ate a salad. Now, in the salad, you're going to ask him, did you check for bugs? No. Says, do you know, in one salad, right, you went there, you did 5 avirot. Yeah, 5, some people say 6. Let's say 5 avirot. 5 lashes, 5 sets of lashes, 5 avirot. You would have eaten the piece of pig, it's only 1. I would have told him, if you're a good accountant, if you're already doing an isur, eat the pig. Well, you're going to start eating the salad? But what? The people, they come and they say, no, Rabbi, I'm a tzaddik. I'm going to the non-kosher restaurant, but I'm not eating the pig. No. I'm only eating the salad. He said, you should have been bon appetit. You should have eaten the pig. And then, no. So what are you supposed to do? You go to a kosher restaurant. That at least it's going to be, that at least the Mashkiach will go to hell, not you. Yeah? Why? Because it's on the Mashkiach side that he's supposed to check the lettuce and the thing. So it's on the Mashkiach. It's not on you, but at least you did it. At least you went to a kosher restaurant, and at least there he should have checked it. You understand? So they're very important. Yeah? But that's the way it is.
So if
But
you-
I'm just
if
telling
eat
you.
bugs in a kosher restaurant, it's not your.
Again, it depends. Obviously, you had to know that the Mashiach was good. It's a good hashkacha. I can go to what's it called? 1 second. Says the Gemara. Yeah. So he says over here, Ela api kavara. So 1 second, just that way we should understand one more time. Yeah, because I see that I didn't explain it properly. So what happened is that says the Gemara, we want to take away the hoil. We want to say be'emet the hoil is not a problem. So how do we say that? Here we had a problem of havara. 1 second, havara, you're allowed to put on the fire. You're not allowed to make a new fire in Yom Tov, but you're allowed to take from one fire to another fire, right? When you're going to come and you're going to use it for something which you're allowed to do. So here you weren't allowed to use it, but fine. But if I was able to use it for something I was allowed to, hoil, it should be permitted. So says Gemara, you're right. Take away hoil and add in that the animal was a nevilah. It was a gidin shev nevilah. So says the Gemara, you can't tell me that. And then I'm going to go back to ask the question on hoil. Why? Because the Braita said that Rabbi Chia taught in the Braita that you're going to get lashes 2 for the eating and 3 for the cooking. According to you, it's the opposite. 3 for the eating and 2 for the cooking. So therefore, if Rabbi Chia taught you that, that means Havara was inside. So don't answer me up very easily. No. We do say hoil. But over here, it's different because you take out Havara and it's something else. No. Because then he would have worded it different. He would have said that you get 3 lashes because of the eating. So hoil is no. What do you mean hoil is not? It's a null, the answer that you gave, that be'emet, there's an answer of hoil. That means we still have a question. We should say hoil. Why do you get havara? Why do you get lashes for the havara? Hoil. So answers the Gemara, you're right. Lapi kavara, take away havara, va'il batse mukse. If you would have added in nivela, then you're adding 3 on the eating and 2 on the cooking. 3 on the eating and 2 on the cooking. No, yeah, you don't do that. So what do we have to say? No. Take away havara, and you still have 3 on the cooking. What is it on the cooking, not in the eating? What is it? You used wood, which was muktzeh. So since it wasn't prepared for Erev Yom Tov, that was why you're going to get lashes. Now the Gemara is going to ask what? What's muktzeh? Is it Doraita or Drabanan?
No,
Drabanan.
sorry.
Yeah, it's Drabanan.
Huh?
It's Drabanan.
Muktzeh?
Yeah, muktzeh. 1 second. Muktzeh is Drabanan, right? If muktzeh is Drabanan, yeah. So why would you get lashes? Remember, we're not talking about makam mardut. Makam mardut means the betin come and they give lashes. The betin have power to give lashes. Just like the Torah is lashes 39, makam mardut is 39. If somebody come and is mekadesh isha bashuk, or mekadesh isha velo shiduchin, or mekadesh isha bebiyah, if somebody comes, there's a Gemara, Rav comes and he would give lashes to somebody that would have relations with his wife to marry her. Right? There's newcomers, chadashim karov bau, the modern people. Then what do they want to do? They want to get married to their wives. So what do? They have relations with her. And then you say, hey, what are you having relations with her? Wait until you get married. No, Rabbi. I just got married to her. That was a kiddushin. Yeah? You say, that was your kiddushin. Mazal tov. Just wait 1 second. Give me the lashes. Give me the stick. Give him lashes. Yeah? Another case. Somebody that gets without shidduchin, does kiddushin. Imagine he sees a girl in the street. Yeah, they look at each other in the eyes. No shidduchim, no shidduch. It was do it yourself. It was DIY. No problem. Lashes, bring it. Yeah, and by the way, that's Shitat Maran. The Rama is the one that says that you don't give lashes if somebody gets married without shidduchim. But according to Shitat Maran, you give lashes. You understand? How could it be? Right? The Siman Kavav. Siman Kavav and Shulchan Aruch. I just took the test on it. Yeah, Siman Kavav. Yeah, Siv Daled. You get lashes according to Maran. According to the Rama, he's a little bit more lenient. He's not going to give you lashes if you went and you didn't do a shidduch. He's not going to give you lashes. Yeah, but according to Maran, lashes. Yeah, how do you dare? You're not going to do a shidduch. You're going to do it yourself. Go get married to a girl. What is this? You understand? Benot Yisrael are not hefker.
If you don't go through the process of shidduch, it's
Lashes. Benot Israel are not hefker. The daughters of Israel, they're not hefker. You can't just go to a girl, right, and start. You know what happens? The reason why Rav Bar Shalom explained this beautifully. Look how important it is. He said what happens is, how many times does it happen, right? The girls come to Bedin a week, 2 weeks after the marriage, and they want to get. And you ask the girl, why do you want to get? What? I never knew he was like that. I would have never gotten married to him. This and that. What? You didn't go out with him? You didn't do birurim? You didn't look into him? Oh. No, I didn't. The Rabbanim never wanted that. The Rabbanim want that before you're going to take a product and you're going to get married for the rest of your life, because that's what Kiddushin is, right? It's not a disposables. It's not that you get married today, get divorced next week with another one. You go, you buy, return. It's not the American thing. It's it's not a software version that every single time there's an update, so now you throw it out and you get a new one. Yeah. So what happens? The rabbis wanted to make sure that you know what you're doing. That you can't come with a ta'ana later on and say, listen, I never knew, I didn't know. No.
So you have to date.
You have to date, you have to know beforehand. All the birurim. And even the dates, they're a show, he said. You have to do the birurim. The birurim means you have to look into it. You have to look into it, ask different people. What, you think it's not a show? I could also put on a good show. I come every single day. I put on a nice big kippah, right? I have a nice beard. I pretend I'm your rabbi. And I also could put on a good, nice show. Yeah? But the thing is, if you do birurim, and you start looking into things, so there's no more shows anymore. The shows are the shidduchim, the dates. The dates in itself, many times there's shows. But you have to do shidduchim beforehand. You have to do birurim. You have to look into it. You have to do, and they did that to protect the girls, protect the women. The same thing. Somebody wants to get married to a woman. They wanted to protect her. You're going to go and have relations with her. That's how you get married to her, right? It's plitzut. It's not.
It's a little bit contradictory.
Why?
You said last time that your first shidduch is like because what I'm trying to ask you is that should a girl go out on multiple shidduchim? No.
What do you mean by multiple?
It's birurim.
No. What does that mean?
Like the same guy.
With the same guy, she has to go out to make sure that it's good.
So it's not,
but it has to be shidduchim.
Not to be multiple shidduchim.
At the same time, for sure not.
No, not the same time. No.
I thought you were talking about the same time. At the same time, you get whichever one is a good one.
Okay, but my question is to visit not the same time, but let's say to meet a guy twice. Okay, he's good, but I'm not sure. I don't know how. Are you talking about once she finds the guy? Once she finds the right guy?
Is that somebody presented to you a girl, and they started doing birurim on them. You started looking into them. After looking into them, then you come and you go out, and then you're going to become engaged. But it's not that you just come and you get engaged because you went out a few times, but you didn't look into them, and there was nobody that presented it to you. Right? Why? Because that is called without shidduchim, without a prior looking into something. Right? Fine. Says the Gemara. Yeah, so therefore it says muktzeh doraitai. Amalei, he says in yes. Why? It says in the pasuk v'yom hashiv yechinu et asher hiviu v'azara me'achacha. So this is the azara, which means that here you have to actually prepare it. So here you're not allowed to use the muktzeh midin Torah, because it says that you have to actually prepare it beforehand. So if you didn't prepare it, it's going to become muktzeh, right? So where were you? It's azara from lo taseh kum melacha. So therefore, since it says in the pasuk you're allowed to use only something which was muchan, something which was prepared erev Shabbat and erev Yom Tov. So therefore, this is teaching you that it is doraita. So Amalei, so he comes and he tells you, you told me, they asked al chasta. Some people say they asked from Ravuna. Hevi se me afar. If they right now came and they brought on Yom Tov a se, right? Me afar. What does that mean? They brought a keves, a sheep, from a sademid from a plowing field, right? From a field, right? Which is outside of the yishuv, which is muktzeh. Now he says over here, so what happened? And then you did shechita as a korban tamid. And they did it on Yom Tov. What's halacha? So v'atamart lan, and you told us, Allah, right? And you told us that what? It says se velo bechor. What does that mean? He answered when it says every single pasuk is coming to teach you something to do with the korban. Se velo bechor. Bechor you cannot bring as another korban. The bechor can only be brought as a korban bechor. Right? When you have a bechor, that's a firstborn child. Right? But we're talking about an animal. So you cannot bring it as any other sacrifice other than the korban bechor. Yeah. Next, achat. What does it mean, achat? Achat velo maaser. It has to be one animal and not an animal that was separated for maaser, which means that there's a mitzvah from the Torah to come and to separate, right? Maaser. Okay. So he comes and he says that it's a prohibition. Achav lo maaser. Minatzon velo palgas. A palgas is not a keves anymore. It's like, but it's still not an aisle. It's in the middle. Right, so it says over here, the Braita is calling the. It says here it's a keves bechodesh hashlosha asar, right? So it's not a keves anymore, but the keves is within the year. Now this is already the 13th month, but it's not the ayil, right? Because the keves which is within this first year, the ayil is after 13th month. So it's in the middle. It's called palgas. Yeah? Peleg is like in the middle, right? Like, peleg mincha, plag mincha, right? So it's in the middle. So it's in between. So it's in between, meaning it's not a keves anymore, but it's not a 9. Ayil is the ram, which means it's after 13 months. And a keves is within the 12 months. So between 12 and 13, it's a palgas. Okay? Next, Memchet Amud Aleph, 48a. Right? Mina matayim. Right? What does that mean, mina matayim? So it's teaching us you have to bring yain l'nesachim. Okay? Mimotar shte meot. Right? Which is shayru b'bor. It has to be from the leftover of the 200s, which is left over in the gut, in the pit, where you're making the wine. Mikan leolan. From here, we're learning the concept of olah, which is going to be betela with 200. Right? Which means that there's different things. If you remember, when you have meat and milk, how much does it need to become batel? In 60th, if it's a liquid. If it's a dry, it's right, batel berov. Right? If it's meat and non-kosher. Right? If it's going to be truma, how much is it? 1 in 100. If it's going to be orla, it's 1 in 200. And that they learn from here, where it says mina matayim. Right? So it says mina mashke, mi mashke Yisrael. Right? Mina mutal Yisrael. Mikan amru shem mivin el nesichim mina tevel. So you're not allowed to bring wine as a wine libation if it comes from tevel, from untithed produce. Okay? So says the Gemara, Yachol lo yavi mina muktzeh. I would have thought to say that you can bring from muktzeh. Amarta ma tevel miuchad sheisur gufo garamlo. Just like tevel is miuchad that the isur is causing it. So too, any isur which gufo is garamlo yatzash muktzeh. It comes to exclude muktzeh. Shen isur gufo garamlo. Lo isur midvar acher garamlo. Something else such as causing the isur. Now says the Gemara, V'ya Amarta. Now if you're going to tell me isur muktzeh is doraita, mali isur gufo, mali isur davar acher. What do I care if it's the same thing or something else? If it's doraita, doraita gamarnu. And furthermore, you told us that there's a difference in chiluk melachot b'Shabbat and chiluk melachot Yom Tov. By Shabbat, if somebody did a shogeg and he did a whole bunch of avot melachot on Shabbat, so for example, he planted this, that, and he forgot, he brings a korban chatat on every single one by itself, right? And now, even though they're all lo ta'asu kol melacha, it's still going to be prohibited. But en chiluk melachot Yom Tov. There's no chiluk melachot on Yom Tov. Yeah. So says the Gemara, yeah, you with me? Ela api kavara, but rather you have to take out havara. Va'il matzeh ashera. You're right. You can't take muktzeh because muktzeh is not doraita. We just proved to you that muktzeh is not doraita. But rather you have to take out havara and you have to put in atzeh ashera, wood that comes from an ashera tree. What's an ashera tree? Avodah zara. Right? The zara me'achad. The zara is from this pasuk where it says, you can't have anything from the cherem. So Amale Ravacha be'derava la'Abaye says Ravacha be'derava to Abaye v'nilke nami mishum v'lo tavi toeva al betecha. You should also get lashes, but you're not allowed to bring a toeva in your house, right? So he said it 1 second. You should also get a 6th lash because if this is avodah zarah, you put avodah in your house, so you have to get 6 then, not only 5. Not only because you use now the avodah zarah, right? But you brought the zarah into your house, the avodah zarah into your house. That's a 6th one. So he says, you're right. Elapi kavara, you have to take out havara. The island you're going to bring in, that's ekdesh. Okay? Until here we're fine? Fine. Amar Rabbi Merchama, says Rabbi Merchama, Hadar of Chastav Rabba is a machloka of Eliezer and Yeshua. This machloka between Chastan and Rabba is a machloka between Eliezer and Yeshua. So Eliezer Savar Amnina Hoil, but Eliezer holds that we do say the concept of Hoil, and Rabbi Yeshua says we don't say the concept of Hoil. So Amar Papa comes and he says, V'dima akalo kamar Rabbi Eliezer hatam, until maybe Rabbi Eliezer didn't say it over there. The Amrina Hoil that we do say Hoil. Ela dveina the kail letanura, but when you're putting it into the tanur, kol chada v'chada chazil elidei. Each one is fitting for itself, right? Each one you could separate for the chala at the end. Aval hacha, but over here from Yom Tov to Chol, the leorchinu the chazi that it is fitting for guests. Ledidei lo chazi, but it's not fitting for himself. Maybe also it's not going to say it's hoil. Meaning right now the person already ate on Yom Tov. He comes and he cooks again. What are you going to tell me? You're going to tell me, he could have used it for oruchim. He could use it for guests. 1 second, for himself, he already ate. He's not going to eat again. There's no sudash l'shit on Yom Tov. It's only sudash l'shit on Shabbat. So therefore, he says, so maybe over there, that's why he doesn't say hoil. Because the hoil is only that it's fitting for guests, but not for himself. So Amar Rav Shisha bered Ravidi. V'dima lohi, maybe it's not true. Maybe it's not until over there that Rabbi Yeshua comes and he says that we don't say hoil. You have something which is not fitting, not for him, and not for the guests, because you know what are you going to do with it? But in our case, that you're cooking from Yom Tov to Chol, that it is fitting for orchim. Yeah, so he says over here, maybe you would say hoil. So because maybe you are going to say hoil, it's a different halacha. So Amru Rabbanan kamed Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi Zera. So they said Rabbanan in front of Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi Zera. Rabbi Yirmiyah kibla, Rabbi Yirmiyah accepted it, Rabbi Zera didn't accept it. Amale Rabbi Yirmiyah Rabbi Zera, so Rabbi Yirmiyah said to Rabbi Zera, Milta kashelan, ve'ata kama shane. He said something which was there's so many years. B'may plig, what's the machloket then? Between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Yeshua. So he says, Hashta Amru Mishmed de Gavra Rabba. Now they said it in the name of a great person. Velona kableh, now we're not going to accept it. Amale, he told him, Heichi akableh, how am I going to accept it? To Tanina, we already learned it in Braita. Amale, Rabbi Yeshua says, Rabbi Yeshua, lidvarecha, according to your words, hare over mishum lo tasek melacha. You was over and lo tasek melacha. The shatikle, and he kept quiet. Now, if you're going to tell me that the words of Rami Barcham are correct, right? That basically this is based on the entire concept of hoil. Leimale, he should have said tamadidi mishum hoil. My reasoning is because of hoil. Amale, so he told him according to your reasoning. Had the Tanina Braita, that which you learned in a Braita, Amalo Rabbi Eliezer said according to your words, Harever mishum bali Rabban say you're being over and bali Rabban say. Veshatikle, and he kept quiet. Hakanami delo ahadale, he didn't answer him. Hakamada, he could have answered him from the Mishnah. This is not the chametz. You're going to be over on balira balemetzeh. Ela shatikle bebraita, but he kept quiet in the braita. Madalem matida, but he answered in the Mishnah. Hachanami, so to here, I'm going to say that shatikle matida, vadalem b'mechil tachrite. He kept quiet in the Mishnah, but he actually answered him in another braita, which means that it's not a proof to what you're saying. The fact that he kept quiet doesn't mean that he agreed. It just means maybe he's going to answer him somewhere else, and that's exactly what happened. So Tanya, we learned in the Braita. Rabbi Yomer Rabbi says, "Alachaz like Rabbi Eliezer, that if you're going to bake the batzek tameh, you have to bake it before separating the truma." Rabbi Yitzchak says, "Alachaz like kibem betira, that we're going to separate the chala min batzek tameh before the baking it." So the kama shiur isa, how much is the shiur of the isa, right? In order that you're permitted to bake to knead on Pesach. It's 2 kavs. With seorin and in barley, it's going to be 3 kavs. Rabbi Natan says, Mishum Rabbi Eliezer, chiluf advarim, the opposite. It's 3 kavs in wheat and 2 kavs in barley. Okay? So the Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Mishum Rabbi Omer, bechitin is 3 kavs and seorin is 4 kavs. Says, Gemara halaka shasan a question. Habe chasichata, these are bad ones. Habe malyata, these are good ones. Okay? So Amar Papa says, Shema mina, we learn from here. Gir'in chite chasichta mechite me'alyata. That wheat is actually worse. That means bad wheat is worse than good wheat. Tfei, more than more than the bad barley is worse than the good barley. Tilu hatam is over there, tilta. There, it's only going to be, the difference is going to be 1/3. And here the difference is going to be 1/4. What's more, a third or a fourth? A third is more. A third is 33.3333. A fourth is 25%. So therefore, it's worse a third, right, than a fourth. So therefore, chitim, the difference between bad chitim and good chitim is worse, because it's 33%, is worse than the difference between bad barley and good barley. The difference between bad barley and good barley is 25%. It's a quarter. But the difference between bad wheat and good wheat is a third. So it's worse. Okay? Until here we're clear? Yeah? So Amar Rav says, Kaba milungata lefischa, if you're with me, the kav which is going to be in the city of Meluga, v'chen lechala. That's the same shiur also to do with chala. Okay? Afrashat chala. Vatnam, we learned in the Mishnah, right? Memchet amubet. Chameshet revaim kemach ve'od chayvim b'chala. Once it's going to be 5 quarters of a kav of kemach and a little bit more, that's what you're going to be chayav in chala. So says the Gemara, Hachi Kamar, this is what it means to say. Kaba milugnai nami ahai shiurakai. The kav of this is going to be is also the same thing. So Amar of Yosef says of Yosef, Hani nashe didan nahug lemefa kafisa pischa. Our women, they come and they're nogot lechmid to bake not more than a kviza of kemach right after Pesach in order to stop it. So Amar Abaye comes and he says, "My datech, what do you think? Lechumra? Chumra that this is not lechumra. It's a chumra that the kula. The kamafke lamichala, but you're taking out from it chala, which means when you're going to do such a small thing, at the end of the day, you're taking away the chiyuv of chala. So that's why it's saying it comes out that you're being mitrachek the yisur of chametz, and you took out the torat chala. So it's not a chumra. It's a chumra dati de kula. It's coming to a leniency. Then now you're not chayav in chala. So Amalei the Avdan Rabbi Eliezer. He did like Rabbi Eliezer. It's time we learned on Mishnah. Rabbi Eliezer says, "How rodev noten lasal if you're going to come and you're going to put into a basket, the basket is going to be mitzaref otam lechala. This is called tziruf. Tziruf means that you combine it together, which means if you have one dough here, even though each one on its own, it does not come right. It does not chayav and chala. If you put them together in the same utensil, they combine and now they're chayav and chala, in afrashat chala. So Amalei, he said, "Va'ayit maralai" was stated. Yeah, he comes and he says it was stated. Amar Yishom Levi says Yishom Levi. Lo shanu ela bekikarot shel Bavel. Those are only kikarot of Bavel. She noshchot zumizu, that they're touching each other. Aval kachin, but in kachin, which are very long ones, which are not touching each other. Lo. So I was saying, Amar Chanina afilu kachin, even if they're not actually touching each other, the fact that they're in the same basket, even though they're not touching, it's mitzaref. So by Rabbi Yirmiyah comes and he asks tavla, which is basically, it's not a basket, but it's flat. Shen lelevas bazin, that it doesn't have any border on the sides. Ma, what's halacha? Is it also mitzaref or not? So tokli ba'ina, do you need it inside of a utensil and here you don't have it? Or dilma, maybe avir kli ba'ina, you need it in the airspace and you have the airspace. Teku, we don't have an answer. Meaning when you have to do the tziruf has to be in like a kli, right? With rims, right? Like in a bowl or something like that. Here it was just flat. So question is it in a kli and here it's not in a kli? It's on a flat surface, or it's in the airspace of the kli. And since it's on top of like something which is like a flat thing, but it's on top of a board or whatever it is, that in itself is already good enough. We don't have an answer. Tanya, we learned to write the basket is going to be mitzaref. Yoshua says tanur mitzarfan, the oven is going to be mitzaref. Especially if it's touching each other, then for sure it's going to be mitzaref. Says the Mishnah, the first Mishnah on the page. Rabbi Gamliel says, three women are allowed to come and knead at the same time. Okay, in order to fill up the oven. They can bake in the same oven, one after another, and we're not going to suspect that there's going to be chametz in between. All of them are going to be in the same way. No, it's not that you have one woman doing the dough, then the second one, and then the third one. It's a production line, exactly. It has to be one is kneading, one is setting it up, and the third one is doing the actual baking. Rabbi Akiva says, it's not all the same. What does it mean it's not all the same? Rabbi Akiva argues on Gamliel that he permitted it to do it at the same time, but he says that even though alikronit, it's not going to become chametz because they're all working in a production line, still you can't say that it's for sure not going to become chametz. This is the general rule. Tafach, yeah. Tafach, what does it mean tafach? If a woman sees, right, that the batzek is in her hands, is going to start becoming chametz, tiltosh betzonen, we'll quickly put it in cold water. Because remember, putting in cold water stops it becoming chametz. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in a Braita. Lasha, he mekatefet. So when
in other words, the dough that you see that doesn't rise, you put it with hot water.
It doesn't say that, but you're deducing it.
I'll give them when you want to make the dough rise, croissant or anything like that, you put it with steam. That's what
steam, but not in hot water. Because if you remember, I think we learned that hot water makes it keeps it. It makes the bagels, exactly. That's what we learned. Yeah. So I don't think it will rise. I think it'll just shapes it out and it stays the same shape.
And the cold water keeps it from
the cold water keeps it from becoming chametz. Yeah. But let's just finish until there's the second. You know what? We'll actually also do the Mishnah also. Yeah, but we'll do just the Gemara, then we'll do the Mishnah, and we'll start at the Gemara tomorrow. Okay, so at least we almost. No, we have until the next Mishnah also. Okay, let's try to finish the Daf. Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita. Yeah, lasha hi mekatefet, v'chaverta lasha tachtea. What does that mean? Lasha hi mekatefet. The one that's doing the kneading is doing the actual the braiding, no, the braiding, the setting it up of it. V'chaverta lasha tachtea, and then somebody else is doing mekatefet yofa. V'chaverta mekatefet tachtea. V'shlishit lafa, right? And then the third one is doing it. Ofa hi lasha. V'chaverta ofa tachtea. V'shlishi mekatefet v'chozeret chalila kol zman she'osku b'batzek ena bali dechemutz. Which means like this. Each one is doing another process, but it's not mamash like a line. What's happening is the first one, she's lasha and then mekatefet, which means after the first woman of the three women that she comes and she starts doing it, lasha is the kneading. Yeah, the orechet is making like the braids and like making the form of it, right? So it says, so the first one is lasha, then mekatefet. The second one, she starts lasha right after, and then the mekatefet, she's already baking it. The chaverta mekatefet. So now when she's doing the mekatefut, the third one already starts kneading. meaning that it's not the production line, but we're just passing on. Each one is doing their own bread. But it's that we do it in a process that I start kneading, and then I'm going to start orechet, which is the second process. When I'm already doing the second process, you're already starting the first one. When I'm doing the third one, you're already doing the second one. And then the third one is starting the first. You understand? Like that. That's the way that it's going. Okay? Why? Because as long as we're always doing something with the batzek, it's not going to become chametz. Rabbi Akiva says not all the women are the same. Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Amar Rabbi Akiva, right? You should come and you should teach us. What does this mean? We talk about women which are quick or not. We talk about wood which is moist or dry. The oven is already hot or it's cold. He told me, right? The rabbis told you one thing. It starts becoming chametz, throw it into cold water. That's all you have to do. Okay? Next, Mishnah. Siur. Yisaref. Siur is basically batzek that starts becoming chametz. So what happens is you have to burn it. If you're going to eat it on Pesach, you're going to be patu from karet and from malkut. Siduk, right? What is siduk exactly? So siduk is that it started getting to thing right before, more than chimutz, right? That you actually see the cracks. Yisaref, you have to burn it. But if you eat it, you're going to be chayav karet. Yeah, like I said, exactly, like cracks. Ezu siur, what is siur and what is siduk? Shenitarvu stakin zebazeh. The batzek started already getting the stakim in between each other. These are Yehuda, right? Sorry. Ezu siur keganecha gavim, right? Just like the horns of the chagavim, the grasshoppers. What is siduk? Shenitarvu stakin zebazeh. They started connecting to each other, all the cracks. These are words of Yehuda. Chachamim omrim zebazeh, both of them together. Hauchlo, if you're going to eat both of them, that means it doesn't matter whether it has sedakim or whether it only looks like kanecha gavim. If you eat it, you're going to be chayav karet. So what is siur that you're not chayav karet on? Kol shiksifu panav, only if it was yiksifu panav, that means it becomes whitened a little bit. So adam amdu sarotav, just like a person that his hairs stand because of pachad. That means sometimes people, they do it nowadays, they're always afraid. So why are they always afraid? They come and they set up their hair like up. You ever seen it? The hair all of a sudden, it's a style. Huh? The spikes. It's a style. You say, what does that mean? They're always afraid. So you come up to the guy, you say, what are you afraid of? Well, what are you talking about? You have to be afraid of me. You understand? No, you're afraid. The hair is spiky. Yeah? That's it's even a saying in Spanish, I'm sure in English also, that my hairs are up. Like my hairs are, yeah? Fine. Tanu Rabbanan, we went to the right. Ezu siur, says the Gemara. Kol sheksifu panav shel adam she'amdu sarotav. Ezu siduk, what is siduk? Kanecha gavim. There's the opposite way. These are words that are mean. Chachamim say, what is siur? Keganecha govim. Siduk is nitavus dakin zebezev zebezev. Achlo chayav karet. So says the Gemara, but we learned in our Mishnah, siur you have to burn it, but if you eat it, you're patur. These words are Yehuda. So says the Gemara, I'm going to say according to Rabbi Meir, if you eat it, you're going to be chayav karet. So Amar Rava says, my tamad Rabbi Meir, what's the reason Rabbi Meir? En lecha kol sedek v'sedek shenimtza lemala milmala she'en lo kama sedakim. There's no such thing that you have on the top a few sedakim that on the bottom you don't have more. That means it's impossible that if you on the top you have, for sure on the bottom you have a few more even. Okay, and that's why it's going to be gavam even more. So Bezrat Hashem, tomorrow we continue with. Yeah. I guess you could see a crack. Yeah, why?